Okay. Okay, let's start again. Shalom, everyone, and welcome to the first tasting of the Technion webinar series, a series of 3 short webinars about food technology. Each webinar will be up to 30 minutes, including Q&A, in order to help you better digest the talk. My name is Yoash Dvir, and I'm the CEO of Technion Australia. If you don't know who we are, Technion Australia is the local society of Technion, Israel Institute of Technology, and we are here to support Technion's activities and research, as well as run our some local programs. Tonight, we have an amazing speaker, Associate Professor Maya Davidovich from the Faculty of Biotechnology and Food Engineering at the Technion. Maya did her bachelor degrees in biomechanical engineering and both her master's and PhD in chemical engineering departments at the Technion. She continued to do her postdoctoral fellow at the University of Guelph. I hope I pronounced it right.
Well, yes.
Yes, and she specializes in oil-based gels termed oligels that are designed to replace saturated fat in our food. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat box, and Professor Pinhas Davidovich will address them at the end. Maya, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Yoash, for the nice introduction. And I'm really happy to meet you all, although I see black circles. Anyway, so if you're up to it, you can open your camera. It will be nicer. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to approach me afterwards through emails or any other way of communication, LinkedIn or something like that. So today I would like to talk about something that we're doing every day, and I want to take you a little bit to the future, and I'm going to talk about the food of the future. So if we think about what you see here, it's something that we do every day. We eat morning, lunch, and dinners. I hope most of you just eat the 3 meals, not more than that, but it's important to understand that food is something that we consume, and this is something that we need. But if we think about what's going on globally, we can see that the population is growing, and is growing really fast. And if we think about how can we make sure that the population will get good nutritional value and good food supply, we have to think about how can we work with this kind of demand and how we can provide. And today I would like to focus on a specific food ingredients that most of us are consuming mostly every day, and especially in the Western world, and I'm going to talk about animal-based products. We're talking about fish, pork, cows, etc. And we have to think about how can we manufacture such large quantities of these materials or these products to the whole of the community. And if we think about growing populations like in India, in China, we have to think how can we provide all these amazing foods to all the community and what they are producing to our environment. And if we think about animal-based product, we have to think about the environment. And probably you already heard about these issues, but I'm going to emphasize it a little bit and talk about how can we solve this issue with respect to what we're doing here in the Technion. So if we think about animal-based product, you are probably aware of the gas emission that they produce during their production, the landscape that they are required in order to grow these animals, water consumption, and all these components assemble into the huge carbon footprint that we can see that these products produce on our environment. But more specifically, if you look at this graph, you can see that meat and animals, cows for more specifically, are producing significantly higher carbon footprint compared to other animal-based products. And this is I would say, this is the main challenge of the food industry right now, and most of the companies and startups and etc. are looking to solve this problem in specific. So many faculty members, academic groups, government, startup companies are looking to solve this issue using two main strategies, which are either plant-based meat analog or formation of cultured meat, which is lab-grown meat. And today I would like to give you a little bit of a taste of each one of these examples, and I will start with the plant-based meat analog. In order to produce plant-based meat analog, we have to think about all the components that we need to implement into these kind of materials. So first of all, obviously, we need the protein and the fibers that are originally placed in these materials. We have to think about the oil or the fats that are located in this component. And of course, we have to think about the minor component, the mineral and vitamins. So if we want to produce something like that, we want to combine oil and protein, we have some kind of a challenge, because if we combine plant-based proteins with oils, we are producing something not very appealing. And I guess that most of you will look at this image and say, what the hell? What are you doing in the lab? So this is actually the first attempt to try to combine oil and plant-based protein, and it's not very appealing, and I'm guessing no one will buy something like that. So in order to implement proteins, plant proteins with oils or fat, we have to think about something else. How can we combine these two components together? And how we do it in the lab, we're trying to use two phases. Probably most of you have heard about oils and water, meaning that we can use the water phase in order to implement the protein, the plant protein, while on the other side, we can implement the oil. And what we're doing actually in the lab, we're trying to gel these phases together in order to produce something that looks solid and can behave either as a meat substitute by itself or as fat replacers for other applications. So more specifically, let's look at each phase by itself. First of all, water phase. We are all familiar with the ability to gel water, hydrogel, meaning that we're producing something called hydrogel. And probably most of you are familiar with this product. Some of you maybe, but this product is very common. This is a gelatin gel. It's made mostly from water, and the other component is the gelatin that it's originally from animal source. But if we want to produce something like that, the only thing that we have to do is take powder of gelatin, water, heat it up, and then cool to room temperature, and then we can produce a very nice structure of gel. But on the other side, we can produce other gels, and this is actually the main topic of the research in my lab. We can produce oleogels. Oleogels are similar to hydrogels. They are oil-based gel where the continuous phase is oil instead of water. What we're talking about, again, very small amount of some kind of powder or structuring agent that can gel the liquid oil, producing a very nice texture, solid texture that is similar to solid fat. You can see it here. It looks really nice. You can produce a lot of structures, a lot of colors, a lot of textures, which is the most important component when we're thinking about fat replacers. So if we combine these two strategies, we're talking about hydrogel and oleogel, we can produce very nice textures, which you can see here. And the term of these materials is bigels, meaning two gels combined together. And there are various methods that we can combine these phases together. And what we did in the lab, we tried to implement plant-based proteins into the water phase, and we solidified the oil phase using GMS, which is a derivative of triglycerols. And here you can see some of the examples that we did. We tried to play around with the concentration of the structuring agent, which are the gelling agent of each phase, meaning that we are trying to manipulate or control each phase texture. And we try to to play with the ratio between the two phases. You can see here that we obtain a variety of textures. We can produce something very soft that's similar to mayonnaise, and we can produce something very solid that is similar to margarine or butter, meaning that we can produce a large variety of fat replacers or a full food product by using these techniques and using plant-based proteins. And when we want to look at these systems more, I would say, in depth or into the microstructure, we can see, we obtain images like this. On the left hand, you can see that how it looks like a chunk. We will talk a little bit about it later, but it's a chunk of system that combines two phases, the phase of the hydrogel with the plant protein and the phase of the oil. And when we look at the imaging, the electron microscopy imaging, we can identify the oleogel droplets embedded in a matrix of protein, plant protein. In this case, it's chickpea protein. And you can see that the structure is really interesting, and we can play with the composition of what we're receiving. So if we look at the final product that we have managed to produce, we have to think about the functionality, because at the end of the day, we need to use it in food production. And in this case, we can see that, first of all, on the left side, you can see the biogel compared to beef fat. We actually took beef fat and compared them visually, and you can see that visually they look really similar. We obtained a very solid texture to our biogel, and while on the other hand, we have the beef fat, which is also white. And when we fry this system, it looks really, really similar. On the other side, if we think about nutritional value, we can see that our fat-like system is actually consisting 15.4 grams of protein, meaning that our fat is much healthier than fats that we can find in the grocery shop, like margarine or butter, meaning that we can produce I would say, improved nutritional profile to our fat substitute. And we can also look at this system as a separate food product, meaning that we have a product that consists high fat, high protein content, which is similar. Actually, 15.4 is not very far from mozzarella cheese. On the other hand, when we think about the melting behavior of this system, we obtain a very similar melting profile to natural fat. But most importantly, if we look at how it behaves under frying condition, you can see here the example of our, I would say, we produce some kind of sausage from our samples. And when we fried it, it looks really nice. The smell was nice. I hope you believe me. The smell was nice, not very appealing. While on the other hand, we were able to produce a nice crust on the surface of our product. And when you look at these images, I can only ask you, what do you think? It looks like, I don't know, chicken, maybe some kind of cheese, maybe halloumi cheese, which is very common in the Middle East, meaning that we have a very strong product or technology that can be used in a wide range of applications in the food industry. But after talking about plant-based solution, I would like to go towards the other option, meaning the cultured meat that I discussed. This is actually a research that was done as a collaboration between three leading scientists here in the department. We have Professor Marcel Makhlouf, she's an expert on tissue engineering. Professor Fishman, she's an expert on enzymatic processes, and myself. And we collaborated in order to find or develop new technology in order to produce cultured meat. And when we talk about cultured meat, let's understand first what is cultured meat. So the basic concept is to take a biopsy of cells from the cow. It's not very harmful, and grow the tissue or the steak inside the lab instead of using the cow itself. This is a very unique and very hard challenge to the industry right now, and there are a lot of companies trying to do that. And I think the major challenge of producing cultured meat is their scale up, producing large quantities of this meat, which is a challenge. And I think that our perspective will provide a solution for that. So let's go deeper into how meat is structured. If we think about a steak or any kind of tissue of meat, we're talking about muscle cells filled with water, obviously, and combined with the fat cells, which are really important in order to get a juicy steak, right? So if we think about these materials, we have to think about how can we mimic. So if we want to mimic meat structure, we have to think about two main components, structural components, which are the muscle cells on one side and the fat cells, where the muscle cells are important because they are providing the protein content, the water content, and other water-based ingredients, or I would say water-soluble ingredients, while on the other side, the fat cells are important for the fat content, but they are also important because they're providing the texture and the, I would say, desirable mouthfeel that we're sensing while we're eating something like high-fat steak or something like that. So we are actually in our faculty try to combine all the expertise that I've mentioned before in order to find or develop a solution. And our solution is based on what you can see here. First of all, in Professor Makhlouf lab, they are producing microcarriers that are based on plant-based protein, and they're actually growing the cells on the microcarriers, and this way they can scale up the production of these cells to much higher degree because they are floating inside a reactor, and we are going to see it today a little bit further. But what we do is we combine these, I would say, cells or animal originated cells with fat, actually droplets of the oleogels that I mentioned earlier today. And we're combining these two systems using enzymatic processes. And this way we can produce either minced meat or a whole cut, thick cut of any kind of meat that we are aiming for. So if we look at this technology, we are actually combining a lot of knowledge from different fields of food science in order to produce the final solution. So here we have the images or the initial images of how we produce the microcarriers with the cells. Here you can see in green, this is actually living cells growing on top of a microcarrier, edible microcarriers. And on the top, you can see the image or the video of how the bioreactor is actually working. You can see that the cells on the microcarriers are floating inside the bioreactor. And actually, this kind of bioreactors can be scaled up to produce large quantities of cells, of muscle cells. While on the other side, we're producing oleogel particles, and here you can see that they are stained in red, and these particles are actually coated with plant-based protein in order to be able to combine the cells, the muscle cells microcarriers with our fat system using enzymatic processes, and that's how they can stick together and formulate a final product. And we actually use these technologies, these combined technologies, and we tried different, I would say, product. And I know it's not the best color that you will expect when you buy meat in the supermarket, but I think you can agree with me that these images are promising, and we can work with the color because the color is, I would say color and flavor is usually the easiest part. The texture is usually, and the growing of the cells is the hardest part. And you can see here that we were able to produce nice emulsified sausages where we combine the technology, the oleogelation technology and the cell culture technology together. And on the bottom, we were able to produce nice meat patty, and we tried different combination of layered or combined system. I think this is the beginning, and here in the Technion and general in science, we're only starting the story. We're hoping it will continue, and actually Professor Marcel Makhlouf just established a new startup company termed Metaphora in order to take this technology to the next level and try to develop a real food product that you can buy in the supermarket. But I think the whole story that I gave today can be concluded with a nice video that you can see here. I think this is really promise, and what you see here is actually the patty, small patty burgers that we made out of the culture cell with the oleogel technology. And you can see here, it looks really promising. And I don't know about you, for me, it's 1 p.m. and I'm ready for lunch. So I guess for you, it's dinner, but I think it's promising. And I hope you will agree with me that we have nice stuff going on in the Technion, and we're hoping to take it to the next level. And if anyone is interested, you can see here the link to my lab website. And I'm open to any kind of questions or suggestion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maya. So I'll ask first before, if you may. The fat, is it tasty by itself?
Usually, I don't know, have you ever tried margarine?
Yeah, I'm not talking about margarine, but you know, you put on top of the shawarma, you ask for the lamb fat.
The reason I'm asking is because usually fat doesn't have any flavor. Fat usually is more of a texture modifier. It's a texture modifier more than a flavor. When you fry it, there are specific aroma components that are released to the environment. It's usually that's why you have the specific smell and flavors. But usually fat by itself, it's not very tasty. Like in margarine or butter, they're adding. In butter, you have the proteins there, but if you think about margarine, which is plant-based, they're adding salt to it in order to provide I would say, some kind of taste. But if you think about cocoa butter, if anyone tried it before, it doesn't taste. It just feels like wax.
I'll be honest, I'm vegan. One of the reasons I created this series, I'm vegan. I'm very interested to know when will I be able to have a shawarma again with a little bit of fat on the top? And more importantly, when will I see these patties in the supermarket?
I'm open to industrial suggestion. And yes, we are still in the academy, and I'm open to any kind of. I have some suggestions from the industry, and I'm hoping to get it to the next level, definitely.
How far is it from commercializing? Like, what is it good enough in scientific level to be commercialized?
I think the first topic that I discussed today about the biogels, they are pretty ready to go to the industry. We need to do the scale up. It's easy to do it in the lab, but the question is how it will behave in the industry. That's something completely different.
Any other questions? You're welcome to open the microphone if you wish and just ask a question. Okay, so as promised, it's going to be short and tasty. So thank you, Maya, and everyone for participating today. If you have any questions, please email me or Maya directly. And you are very welcome to sign up for our next week webinar, where Associate Professor Uri Lesmes will discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly side of future foods. If you haven't signed up already for that. Again, thank you, everyone, and thank you, Maya. And have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Good day.